Oh yeah, welcome to the Jungle Brothers podcast, fam. It's Joey, it's Paul.
What's up?
T's not here today. We've got Sean Clarence in the house.
What's up, gents? How are we?
Good, mate. How are you?
Excellent. Well. I enjoyed that intro, actually.
It was pretty good. I maybe could have let it go for a bit longer. I haven't got the timing down. At that. Yeah, I got to listen to that part of some podcasts and like, figure out their formula. Mate, thanks for coming here. This is episode 93 for folks who are listening. Sean was back with us, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 episodes ago.
Yep.
In a moment, I'm going to get you to give a little backstory on that, just for anyone that maybe hasn't listened to that. Mm-hmm. Just quickly, a couple of things we've got coming up. It's where we are now. We're at the end of January. We've started our morning jiu-jitsu program. We're going to be running a couple of beginners jiu-jitsu workshops. So look out for those. Dates, details, not released yet, but they'll be out in the next week or so. If you're interested in learning a bit about it, definitely come to those. They'll be free. The other cool thing to mention is that we're involved in another event with Rise Foundation Australia. We just found out about this yesterday. They're doing a charity walk. It's a 24-hour walk. It's to bring awareness to suicide within our community. And when I say our community, I believe it's Australia-wide, the statistics that they're talking about. It's a 24-hour walk, and it's going to start here at Jungle Brothers. I don't know when that's out. I think it's March sometime. So we'll put some details out about that. But that's super cool. Dylan organised that, so it's an exciting thing for us to be involved with. We're not drinking coffee today. I apologise. I probably told you, Sean, that we're going to have coffee.
Yeah, I checked the message just before we started, and it definitely did say coffee.
We actually have Panavol cold brew downstairs.
We do.
One?
Do you want one?
Well, I mean, how are
I'll get one because I'll have one.
Go do it. Yeah. Make it 3, Paulie.
Thanks, Paulie.
That's so good. We got a fridge full of drinks downstairs. I forget about it all the time too.
Cold brew is perfect in this weather. My missus got me a cold drip machine. Takes about 3 hours. Not a super long one. 3 hours.
It's not the wanky one that the cafes have that never works, like that they never use.
Very compact, very small. Just put the coffee in, put the water in, drips out.
Brother, beautiful.
So good.
Man, do me a favor. Just get that mic a bit close to your mouth. Grab the whole thing and just move it where you want. Yeah.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, we got the technology.
You got me?
There we go. That's nice. Mate, tell us who you are. I know you are. I've been catching up for ages. But there's folks out there who wouldn't have listened to the first podcast.
Yep.
You're a gym owner. You're a family man. You're an old friend of ours.
Yep.
So you're a friend of Jungle Brothers. We've known each other we had a mutual business coach many years ago.
Long time ago now.
Long time ago, huh? He's now selling snake oil for beards. Shout out to Drew. Thanks, Paulie. Is that a bit harsh?
Oh, mate, I did not expect that. That's good though. It's accurate.
I love the guy. And you also have this other side to your life, which is the never rest challenge.
Movement.
Yeah.
Challenge, yeah.
Can you go on?
Yeah, cool. So I run a gym in Castle Hill, Hills District. Shout out. 2155.
215. Oh, and you can't do that one with the fingers, can you?
I don't know. I've got some weird fingers. I can get. I can hit some angles.
Oh my god! Yeah.
So I run a gym there. We're a sort of similar gym to here, strength conditioning based functional fitness, group training. Family man, got 2 kids. I've got a stepdaughter as well. Who's just turned 18.
Wow.
It's been eye opener, absolute eye opener for me. A couple of young kids as well, 6 and 3. And so I also run this Never Rest challenge. So, backstory, you want me to go straight into the backstory, Never Rest?
Go on, backstory.
So, my brother, Nathan, had cystic fibrosis and, we wanted he'd lived with it obviously his whole life. And I think when you're a family member of someone with, life-limiting condition like that, you feel helpless essentially, right? So we wanted to do something for him. Essentially, long story short, we created this challenge and I think there's a lot of causes out there at the moment, and so there should be, right? There's a lot of people going through some stuff. We wanted to bring some attention to ours, so we wanted to make it a crazy event so that people would hear about it and sort of ask, like, why the fuck are you doing that? And then they'd hear about CF and we'd go into the story. So we did original challenge September 2019, 24-hour challenge. We did 10,000, forgot it now, 10,000 push-ups, 1,500 pull-ups and a 42K run in a 24-hour period. I completed that with 4 minutes to spare. So the sad thing about that particular challenge though is my brother passed away in the training for it. So pretty emotional, but also really strengthened my resolve to get it done. Got that done. We raised a hell of a lot of money for it. And then we sort of rolled into Never Rest 2, which was this just gone, 2020. But that was a lot different because of COVID. It was a lot different to what it was originally planned to be. And that's no rest. I mean, do you want to talk? How do we want to roll into the second challenge?
That's good. Let me when you say we did the challenge, I know you had a team around you. Did you have someone participating with you, or were you the one guy doing all that stuff?
Challenge 1, just me.
Right.
Yeah.
So you did 10,000 push-ups, 1,500 pull-ups,
Yep.
and ran 42 Ks.
Yeah. Well,
A marathon.
run/hobbled. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it done. Yeah.
Got your way across 42 kilometers
That's
of
correct.
earth.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing. So that was 2019. And then that brings us then to last year, which was Never Rest 2.
Yes.
Am I right? Was that push-ups and pull-ups?
Yes. It wasn't meant to be, but that's what we changed it to.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
It was originally step-ups or something, wasn't it?
nah, that's what I said here. I actually gave an
doing it in the
exclusive
potty.
Called it.
that maybe 2 weeks later, I maybe should have told you to edit it out. It was never going to happen.
Right. Because it was like, that's not possible.
I think I just didn't want to do it in the end.
Yeah, right.
So
you didn't want to lose all of your upper body gains.
no, I got so much progress. I wanted to keep that. We originally decided the second one would be 1,000,000 kilo total. So powerlifting total, what is it? Bench press, deadlifts, squats. 1,000,000 kilos in 24 hours.
Fuck.
Yeah, so massive. Actually, don't know if that's possible. I didn't end up doing it, but it was planned for. So we pulled on our help that we had from NRL, South Sydney, super supportive. Every year, the NRL have something called Magic Round. So obviously, every round, all the teams play in different areas of Sydney and throughout Australia. Magic Round, they play at the same ground all weekend. So it's a huge festival sort of atmosphere. It's up in Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane, and we're going to do that early May. We'd already got it ticked off by Suncorp, by the NRL, a few clubs supporting us as well. So we had a little area decked out, and I was going to attempt to do those kilos, that amount of weightlifting essentially, in that 24-hour period. We had like a full area set up where people could come down and do some with me, some racks and stuff set up. So that was all happening. There was a lot of training going involved in that, and then COVID hit, and that was not possible anymore. Travel, first of all, and also just like crowds.
Wow.
Yeah, so that we had to change it to something a little bit different. I stopped my training for that. Now, with an event like that, you know, a lot of this crazy sort of challenge stuff, like it is a lot of mindset, but it's a lot of training to even get yourself in a position where that's possible on the day. So it's all well and good to have a strong, rock solid mind and a super resilient sort of mindset around a challenge like that. But if you're not in the physical condition to get it done, it's not going to get done anyway, right? So I stopped training for that because I thought it was done. We ended up coming out of COVID a little bit quicker than I think maybe everyone thought when we first got shut down. So people were back at football games, and we thought, all right, well, let's do another challenge and get it back. Again, NRL super supportive, South Sydney Rabbitohs, Canterbury Bulldogs, really supportive, got us at ANZ Stadium. We couldn't move around because of restrictions. We had to be in the one spot. So essentially I could have done that challenge again, but I'd stopped training for it, so it was done. So I had maybe 10, 12 weeks notice, and so we reverted back to what I did last year, because I'd sort of kept doing a few push-ups here and there and in reasonable shape, and I thought I could get it back quite quickly. And so we set the challenge of 15,000 push-ups, 2,500 pull-ups, 24 hours. So no run. So,
wow. So you've increased the workload.
yeah, push-ups up by 5,000, pull-ups up by 1,000,
Yeah.
no run. Now, I think it depends on how you interpret that. A lot of people, when I told them about that, they were like, oh, sounds a bit easier. The reality is to do about 5,000 push-ups takes 6-7 hours, which is a slow jog marathon. So same amount of time. But the marathon is a rest from doing push-ups and pull-ups, right? So I'm just not getting that rest anymore. So I knew it was going to be a lot more difficult. And yeah, that was the challenge. That's what we set. And you know, it ended up being the most unbelievable event that I've ever been part of. And the first one was pretty tough to top, but this second one was awesome, and for a lot of different reasons.
Tell us.
Let's go. So,
Well, actually, let me ask a thing on that.
yeah.
It's just interesting you mentioned that it's not just enough to have the rock solid mindset. You have to have the training foundation there to allow you to really push to that place.
Yep.
That's interesting, because I feel like some of the dialogue around this, like David Goggins, who I know you're a fan of, who, is an incredible guy and has brought quite a bit of this sort of discussion to the mainstream, right, through Joe Rogan and whatever. If you don't know David Goggins, he's like what would you call him?
Savage.
He's just a fucking savage. And he does really fucking hard physical challenges and smashes them. He's really quite kind of, through that, he's kind of a motivational guy, isn't he? He's telling people, fucking go harder, do it, don't be a pussy, that kind of vibe. I feel like with that world and that discussion, there's a little bit of, maybe it's not spoken about, that you need to have the training foundation as well. Mm-hmm. And I even feel like when I heard him tell his story on Joe Rogan, which was an amazing story, I advise anyone to go listen to it, but it almost sounded like, if I remember correctly, he was like, I was super out of shape, overweight, like really unhealthy. And then one day I just went, fuck it. And then I fucking ran 1,000,000 kilometers. And then I've been doing that every day kind of thing. Mm-hmm. There wasn't like, it was almost like he's painting the picture that you just have to have the mindset. Mm-hmm. Whereas in reality, and what you've expressed is like, well, you got to have that, but you also got to have some training behind you, because otherwise you just fall apart.
That's it. And Goggins, if you listen, he's been on a few different podcasts and he has expanded a few times on how he got to where he is. And he was a Navy SEAL, but to get to that level, when he first decided, everyone has that, not everyone, but some people have that moment where they just go, that's enough. Like, I'm so out of shape here, I've got to do something about it. His moment was when he went for a 4-mile run, I think, and he said he got a couple of 100 yards down the road and he walked back. And so he built up from that. He just started slowly increasing the distance each time. So he did go through that process of building it up. But you're right about the mindset. Like, it is important to have this mindset of like, I just want to get something done no matter what. Like, I'm tough, I'm just going to push through. But when you're going to push yourself to like an extreme level, like a level that not many people are ever going to want to go to, if you don't have the training behind you, like, you're just not going to get there.
Body's just going to break down.
Correct, yeah. And I remember just, when I first started doing the Never Rest Challenge, training for it, I'd do like 200 push-ups and I was sore for days, like proper sore. And, so I can think all I want that I want to do 10,000 push-ups in one day, but I was just never going to do it unless I put the work in.
Yeah.
And so, going into that second challenge, knowing that, originally I was going to do that 1,000,000 kilos, there's a lot of training that goes in for me to turn up on the day where it's even like a possibility, where now I have to dig deep and like find all these mental reserves to keep pushing through. But if I hadn't done the training to even be in shape to attempt that, it just was never going to happen in the first place. So super important that when you're taking on a challenge, like if you wake up one day, you're not going to just run a marathon if you haven't run in 5 years. Like, you've got to ease into it, put yourself in a physical position where it's possible, and then you can sort of call on and find those little mental nuggets to get you through.
So how do you know when you're like, I'm guessing you can't really replicate that event. Like, I'm guessing when you were preparing to do 42K run, 10,000 push-ups, 2,500 pull-ups,
1,500. Yep.
Pussy. I would have done 2,500. I'm guessing when you're prepping to do that in a 24-hour period, mm-hmm. It's not like you're going to go and try and do it 2 weeks prior to the event. Go, I'll just test run it, because it's like you're saving yourself, right? I'm fucking going to peak on this day, and I'm going to do it.
That's right.
So if you could estimate, have you tested it? Have you like sort of taken the car out for a spin at 50% of that capacity, at 20%?
Yeah. So I did. I just drew on my own experience with training people and increasing volume slowly. I did like a weekly total each week. And then maybe 8 weeks out, I'd realized that I hadn't done anything overnight. So all my training's been like hours that are easy for me to wake up and train, like nice, comfortable hours. But I hadn't done anything at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So I decided about 8 weeks from that original challenge to do 4,000 push-ups and maybe 500 pull-ups. Like, I start at 10 o'clock at night and just finish when I finish. And I think I went through to like 3 or 4 a.m. And that's when I did that. And I think I told the story last time I was on the podcast. I got into the shower, I could hardly move, I was cramping, I couldn't turn the taps. And I thought I was in a bit of trouble there, but I got through it. I woke up the next day and I felt all right. I thought, I'm 8 weeks out here. I've done not 50% and I didn't do any running, but I feel pretty good about where I'm at. And then I just got back on the boat and just continued up the volume. And by the end of it, I think I'd done originally like 100,000 push-ups, maybe 20,000 pull-ups going into the event. I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready, but I feel confident. I think that's the other thing. Like, a lot of it is definitely being physically ready, but also feeling like you're ready, having the confidence going in. I definitely had heaps of confidence going in that day, thinking I've done as much as I think I can do, and now we just go out and get it done.
Incredible. So there is a leap of faith there to some point, but you've kind of shortened it so that you're like, no, I'm feeling pretty good.
Absolutely. There's a huge leap of faith. Like I've never done anything like it before. To my knowledge, I did some research. I couldn't find anyone else to even ask about it because I didn't see anyone had done those events like together in the same 24-hour period before. So yeah, there's a leap of faith for sure, but I've done as much work as I thought I could do in the time I had available, and I felt good. So I think that went a long way to sort of getting me halfway to the way. But also, like we touched on before with the mental stuff, like I had a massive why, as in why I was doing that event, and that got me through a lot of like tough times throughout the event. But physically, yeah, it's a huge leap that you go into the event with. But yeah, got to take it sometimes.
That was going to be my next question was, did you have any kind of mentor or someone who could like help you structure a program around it? And you didn't, right?
No, I didn't.
It was just all you. You just put some programming together and stuck to it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a confident sort of person when it comes to strength and conditioning in terms of knowing what helps other people, but I pay a lot of attention to what I'm good at and how I build my strength up really quickly and how I can maintain it. And so I'm very aware of my own strengths and weaknesses. And so I just took that sort of attitude into the programming for it. Just when I think this is what I'm going to need to do, I did some maths. Like I took some time. I took a few days to sort of plan it all out and piece it all together and try and put together 9 months of training as best I could. And yeah, that's what we did, mate. That's what we did. We got it done. It was awesome. But the second challenge was completely different. I had a different sort of preparation leading into it. I got a different result this time, which was, challenging to deal with.
Did you achieve the goal?
I didn't. No, I didn't get exactly what I wanted to do. So like I said, going in 15,000, 2,500 pull-ups, didn't hit that. So that was interesting to sort of deal with that. But there was a lot of sort of factors as to why maybe that didn't get done. But the greater event was much bigger and much better this year. Yeah,
Tell us about that. You had more corporate sponsors on board?
Yeah, so we decided that I think last year was a tricky year to ask people for money, with COVID. And I just, whether people had it or not, I didn't feel right like asking for donations. I know personally I was going through some tough times financially, and I'm sure everyone else was as well. And I just didn't feel right about asking for money. So we still wanted to have the event and we wanted to create a really big event. So we did awareness. So we tried to go down the awareness route, not the money route. So we didn't ask for any donations. What we did ask people to donate though were push-ups. So we had this idea where we'd have a website and there'd be like a graph on the website, and we just picked a number out of the sky that we thought would be tough, which is 1 million. And we thought, how cool would it be in that 24-hour period that I'm doing my 15,000, that we as a community, a Never-esque community, try and get 1 million push-ups done in that 24-hour period. So we had the website built, we had the graph built, and essentially you'd fill out a form, you'd hit enter, 1,000 push-ups, and it'd be added to the total. And so we went down the route of contacting gyms, contacting schools, as many celebrities as we could with some sort of influence, and also just the CF community and just my own network. And the challenge became, as we were building into it, it became less and less about me. Like the year before was all about the challenge I was doing because I was the only one doing it. This year was about not if I'm going to get the 15,000, it's are we going to get the 1 million?
It's cool.
Which is really cool. And it's a completely different feeling around that. And again, so, we can talk about the actual event, but essentially it ended like this. The 24 hours ends. I hit 12,500 push-ups, 2,000 pull-ups. So it was a pretty good effort. But I felt a little bit deflated, and we were aiming for 1 million and we only had 900,000. And so it was a completely deflating feeling, but we ended up getting the 1 million in the end. And
Outside of the 24-hour?
Inside the 24-hour, but we had got contacted the next day by a number of gyms that saw other gyms doing it. They said, we did them, but we didn't know we had to register our push-ups. So we had a lot more people register the next day, and we ended up getting it done.
Okay. Yeah. That's fucking cool. I actually feel guilty. I want to tell you that I didn't do it. I was going to do it, and I just didn't.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean.
It's like, yeah, I know you didn't do it. I was waiting for you to bring it up.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it was cool. And so that's now going to be more about what we do moving forward. I'm still going to look to do some crazy stuff to try and bring more awareness to it. But we want to create like a day where everyone knows on this day of the year, where everyone does push-ups for cystic fibrosis.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
So that every year it's the same day.
Same day. And then we also want to create like a carnival atmosphere when we can, where like we get some sort of ground where everyone can turn up to. there'll be food, there'll be drinks, and there'll be like a stage area sort of where everyone can just lob up and do push-ups, and we have the tally going live, and
That's cool.
we want to build like a really big event around it, and maybe even pump that number up if we can get it a bit more exposure.
Who's in the Never Rest team, or who's?
Well, there's a lot of people in the team, but
you?
essentially it's me, it's my brother Greg,
Yep.
my best mate Aaron, my wife's super supportive and helpful. Us three essentially do most of the organising though, yeah.
And prior to these two events, no experience in fundraising or.
Aaron
putting
is
big
in
events
corporate, in sponsorship and corporate sales around NRL teams. So there's a lot of contacts and a lot of experience with events, but he's been huge for us, absolutely massive. Without him, we don't get the exposure that we would get. He's a lot more contacts than we have. So he's been absolutely awesome with his support. It's interesting. I say we because it's not. I'm just doing the push-ups.
Yeah.
Without
totally.
and that's fine. But without them, I'm just doing push-ups on the ground. No one sees. So it is definitely a massive team effort.
And what sort of money do you raise with that sort of event?
We didn't raise any this time, but last time it was over 50,000, which was cool.
Yes. Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's unreal.
Really cool. And we're just going to continue to try and build it and make it bigger and bigger each year. It's a lot of people I think when you get passionate about something, sometimes that can peter off a little bit. But me and my brother Greg, we made a definite decision when Nath passed away that we were going to continue with that event that year, the Never Rest, and that we wanted to make it like our lifelong thing that we just continued to build. And ultimately the goal is to find a cure for CF. But if we can't get that done in our lifetime, then we just want to continue to help with treatments and make it as good as possible for people with CF. And that's like our way of, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it, but our way of like our nod to our brother of saying, man, we miss you so much and we just want to keep doing this now.
So amazing.
Yeah.
So noble.
Really cool. No, yeah, I guess so. But yeah, it feels good. Like it feels good. A lot of people reach out. Like CF, like I said, it's a small thing. And it's really cool to have people I had a guy reach out to me just around the Never Rest Challenge saying, oh, my 2-year-old's got CF. And I see all these celebrities doing really cool things for breast cancer and stuff. And Mark Clark, to see him do a post for CF for my little girl, was incredible. So really cool to bring exposure to and help people like that out. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
How does this mission of yours, in your mind, how does it fit in with the small business and the family and all those things? How do you know what I mean? How do you compartmentalize these? Because you got a lot going on.
Yeah.
And as a fellow gym owner and family man, 2.5 weeks
Congratulations,
deep.
Joey.
Yeah. Thank you, bro.
Just 3 dads.
Thank you. Yeah.
You look surprisingly awake, actually, man.
I'm doing pretty good at this point. It's my
that.
partner. Yeah. She's doing all the heavy lifting. But I'm sure my time is coming. This is what everyone keeps telling me.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Everyone else went through it. I hope you do too.
There's a bit of that, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's now you fucking know.
Yeah, that's right.
Bastard. But how do you give space to all those things? Do you find it a challenge?
It can be tricky. I think this has become sort of part of just what I want to do with my life, so my family know it's important. They're all affected by it as well. Nath was a really prominent person in our family. And so my wife's very, very supportive and wants to be part of it as well. My kids, love Uncle Nathan, miss him. And so when I'm out doing things for that, there's a lot of understanding around that. My gym community know how important it is to me as well. Nath trained at our gym. And yeah, they're really supportive of us. It just feels, it does have to get compartmentalized sometimes, but it also sort of feels like just part of who I am, part of what I do now. I run the gym, I work on the Never Rest Challenge, and I'm a dad. They're the 3 hats that I wear.
Yeah.
And just, it seems to work nicely for now. I don't know if it ends up becoming what we want it to be, which is bigger and bigger and bigger. If there's some changes maybe that need to be made some point down the road, then I'm open to that at the time. But for now, it's just interwoven with my life, and it seems to be working pretty good. I mean, the hardest thing is if I'm going to continue doing the challenges myself is the training part of it. The organizing, all that sort of stuff is cool. The actual work of doing challenges and training for it is a lot of time and fitting that in is a lot more difficult. Yeah, a lot more difficult.
Yeah, I imagine that would take time and energy and attention away from
That's
those
right.
ideas.
And you're drained. Like if you're doing 3-hour, 4-hour sessions of push-ups, essentially, you don't feel great after it. Like you have a shower and you just back into like cooking dinner and going to the gym and working. It does drain your energy a lot. So probably something that I need to look into long term, whether I'm going to continue to do that. For the short term, I definitely want to. But the stuff outside that is stuff that I'm not really passionate about doing push-ups. Like it's to bring awareness to people, right? And it's to do something crazy. And it is obviously personally rewarding for me to try and do that and go through that as well. But I'm passionate about the movement, the Never Rest movement, and getting exposure out there for CF. And so that's where I don't feel like that takes my energy. Like I want to put my energy there. Yeah. Whereas the training, I feel like it takes my energy away.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm sure the movement itself gives you energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I lost the thing I was going to ask you just then. Oh yeah, this idea of a physical challenge that is very common in raising awareness and raising funds for things like this. Is there a place, or do you envisage a time where it doesn't have to be a physical thing, or is that an integral part of it?
I like having a physical aspect to it. I like people actually doing something, which is why I thought it was cool with the 1,000,000 push-ups and the community getting involved, because it wasn't just you pressing a button and donating $10. Like you actually had to do something. And so I hope that process of physically having to get up and do something would make people think about why they're doing it. Because ultimately what we want is people to hear about CF, to know about it, and to understand what people are going through with it, and hopefully then support us some more as we go down the path. And so if you're physically having to get up and do push-ups, you got to, why am I doing these push-ups? Like it's because I'm doing this for the Never Rest Challenge, which is to raise money and awareness for CF. Like there's a whole physical aspect to it. And I think, my brother, the other thing that ties back into it for me is the only reason that he was able to live to 40 years old and have the life that he had, which was a really active, social, like get up and get after it sort of lifestyle, was because he took his health seriously and because he trained hard. And, he never sort of took a day off with his training. He knew how important it was to his own health and therefore to the experience that he'd have in the world. And so for me, that also ties in that there has to be something that we're doing here. We're not just going to sit around and talk about it. I want to actually do something. Yeah, so it's super important to me to have the physical aspect to it. And I think the wild physical aspect to it, like they're doing something crazy, I think it's just it's like social media. It's attention grabbing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of noise out there at the moment, and if you want to get noticed, and CF is not a big thing, so if we want to get noticed, we have to do something that people pay attention to.
It's just going to escalate from year to year now.
Yeah, there is the limit, I guess, to like what's actually possible. But yeah, we'll just keep pushing the boundaries and get creative and see what we can do. I like that we tied other people into it this year.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah,
and I think you're right about the physical aspect. Like if it's awareness that you're trying to raise, we know that whenever someone trains, they're always going to tell someone about it.
That's it.
Especially if they're like an average Joe and they're trying to crack like 100, just for the day.
Exactly right.
And they're walking around sore for days telling people about it.
And on the actual day of the event, like I got so much energy from people. Like our social media, our Never Rest social media page was blowing up. People tagging us, tagging other people. And that number, we went into the challenge, I think we had like 700,000 at the start of the 24 hours. It just escalated because people are tagging. Joey didn't jump on, but everyone else jumped on and added some push-ups in.
I think Mel tagged me.
Yeah.
Fuck Mel.
Mel was very involved.
Yeah.
Mel was awesome. And heaps of people in Perth. We had people in Holland, Ireland, England, New Zealand, like all around the world doing this challenge. It was sick.
Incredible.
But that brings up the awareness piece, which is the goal, right? So we didn't ask for money, but we wanted people to hear about it. And I think we made as big a noise as we could this year. And every year we'll try and make a bigger noise.
And a bigger chest.
And a bigger chest. Yeah,
hey, shoulders.
Shoulders are great.
Good.
Yeah, shoulders are resilient.
Incredible.
It's I'm more knees and lower back as my weaknesses.
Right.
Shoulders, upper body, good to go.
Go all day.
Yeah, good to go.
Do you feel like they've gotten, has any change occurred since starting to train incredibly high levels of volume in push-ups and pull-ups? Have they gotten better? Have you noticed any kind of imbalances, or are you just feeling good and strong?
I feel good and strong. I think, it's funny, people think that training like that is really good. I would not recommend training the way I train for physique goals. It just doesn't work. I think my physique has definitely got worse as the training's gone up, which is, I don't know, sounds weird to some people, but just doing the same thing over and over again, it's just like lifting a 5 kilo dumbbell forever. Like at some point you need to progress, and I wasn't progressing. Obviously I was just doing push-ups and pull-ups. So yeah, in terms of, I've got really resilient body. Like the guys I use for chiro and stuff talk a lot about how resilient my shoulders seem to be to the volume. And they always talk about how it's going to break down at this point, and just never does. So I'm very lucky in that regard. But other than that, no change. No change.
Do you lean up for the event? And can I ask, how much do you walk around, and how much were you when you did each event?
So I don't really lean up now because I got to keep eating, right? So I got to feed myself, like fuel the energy leading into it as well. So I always just walk around about 84, 83 kilos, just forever.
And that's what you did for it, whatever it was.
Yep. Yeah, I had heaps of food. Like I ate a lot more. Last challenge, I had a lot of challenges with physically eating because I felt sick. And on reflection, I think that was the running aspect to it. I'm not a runner at all. So it just made me feel unwell. And this time around, I ate a lot more food. So I felt like I got better calories in. I didn't really lose any weight in the challenge this time. Last time, I think I lost 4.5 kilos from start to finish, which is quite a lot. It's because I didn't eat, but I hardly ate, and I was dehydrated. This time, I didn't lose any weight.
You were dehydrated post-event or going into it?
Post-event.
Right, yeah, after all that running.
Yeah, all that running, and I was really just struggling getting things in.
Just all that work.
Yeah.
In a sweat.
Yeah, so interesting. But this time around it was interesting personally, because after getting the first one done, I feel like that leads you into almost a feeling of not invincibility, but feeling like when it comes time, like I'm going to get this done. Like no matter how bad it gets, I've done it before, I'm going to get it done again. And to go through not finishing it and not completing it, completely different experience, very, very humbling. And almost, yeah, it sort of brings back again, like just straight away self-doubt, like was the last time a fluke? Like how did you get it done last time? All these different weird mind tricks that happen. But I think, after thinking about it a while after, definitely feel super proud of how much I was able to get done. And yeah, we just roll on to the next one. Like I think when it first happened, I was like, I'm never doing this again. Like whatever the next event is, someone else is doing it. Like I didn't get it done. Someone else can take the reins for the crazy stuff, and I'll just help build this event to be as big as it can be. And I've done a bit of reflecting since, and I think I'm ready to go again for something crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah, interesting mindset change.
Yeah, I remember you saying that after the first one that going through an experience like that, you wish that everybody could experience that.
Yeah, I did, and I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Which I thought was a very powerful sort of statement.
It's incredible for self-belief, because there are moments when you expose yourself to such, like your body is like breaking down, and your mind the whole time is trying to not let it break down, right? So it's telling you you're sore, it's telling you you're injured, it's reminding you that you haven't eaten, it's reminding you that it's not that important that we don't get it done, because like as long as we raise the money, like all these things start to happen, and if you allow it, it will stop you from moving forward, because that's what your mind's trying to do. It's trying to get you back into comfort. It doesn't want what's happening to its body to continue to happen. And so there's a big thing going into it about having the right mindset to pain and understanding that it's going to come and how I'm going to try and navigate my way through it. And it was life-changing, and still is. And I still use those things in the next challenge. I just think it was just slightly out of reach for me with the amount of work like we spoke on before, with the amount of training I'd done leading into it. It wasn't as much. And I think it just wasn't possible for me on that day to get it done. Like I did everything I could. Yeah.
What do you do then because obviously the selection of the repetitions and that kind of thing, that plays a part. Mm-hmm. So you could say, and obviously who knows, but you could say, well, the numbers that you picked for your first challenge, doable. The numbers that you picked for the second one, unrealistic.
Yeah.
Hence, didn't get there.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you give it another crack. You get, halfway closer.
Yeah.
So how do you do that going into the next event? Do you have to be more strategic about, all right, what am I actually picking here? Or do you just go, nah, fuck it, I'm just setting the bar high and let's go, and potentially not achieve it?
I always would rather in my own head, have it so it feels unrealistic. I think that if I set it and think I can get it, it just takes away from
Totally.
the excitement about it, you know.
Yeah.
And training becomes
Training
more
for it.
difficult. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get this anyway.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
just
Got to seem impossible.
yeah, I need it to feel like that to keep me hungry to continue to train. Because the biggest thing with a challenge like that, anything, like if you're going to ultra marathon run, whatever it is going to be, whatever it's going to take a long time, the biggest thing is the training is like you have to train. Like it doesn't matter if you don't feel like it. The reps or the kilometers, whatever it might be, it just have to get done. There just cannot be any excuses. Like, yeah, day to day, you can make changes and tweaks to if you're not feeling great, if you're unwell. But when you look at a program on the whole, like this 9-month block, this has to get done, whether I like it or not. So if you're not hungry to get it done, and if what you're chasing's not exciting or not like enticing enough to make you want to continue to change, you're just gonna your training's just gonna fall away, and you're not gonna get it done in the end anyway. And it's that cherry, like that thing that you're chasing at the end, is like it's got to be big. It's got to look cool to you, and it's got to be exciting to you. And if it's not, yeah, I think it's going to really affect your training and ultimately your ability to get it done.
Do you wake up every morning and feel good and strong and, you know, physically energized?
No, no way. No. Are you talking about now or like when I'm training?
Yeah, generally.
No, not at all. Not at all. I need to work on my sleep. You're going to find that out soon with kids. Yeah, I don't wake up.
I don't
feeling
know
strong
what you
almost
guys are
any
talking
day.
about. I'm 2.5 weeks in and everything's fine.
How about you, Paulie? How do you sleep?
Not great. Don't sleep a lot.
Yeah,
Got up this morning feeling pretty
average.
slow, and came in and trained at a time, and it was slow, but you get used to it.
That's it. You get used to it, Joey. Yeah, no, I don't. Not at all. Not at all.
Because I think people listening are going to be like, well, he's obviously, and we touched on this last time, but he must be a specimen, you know?
Yeah.
Superhuman.
Absolutely not. I'm the most average person you're ever likely to meet. Just had something that meant something to me enough to want to put myself in a position to be uncomfortable enough to get something pretty cool done. I think everyone's able to do that. It's just you've got to pick something that's exciting to you, some event that's exciting to you, and you've got to have a big enough reason to want to keep going, keep moving forward towards it.
Do you wake up every day feeling motivated?
No, again, not at all. Not at all. So when I'm training for the event, I think I am motivated to get the work done because I want that event to happen. I want to get the whatever it is I'm chasing down to actually achieve it. Yeah, but again, not motivated. Like I think it's classic sort of gym talk. Like we have people at the gym always say, "Oh, how do I get motivated?" It's not necessarily about motivation. It's more about habits. And it's more about this is what I do. I do this every day, and I do this every day, and I eat this, and I go here, and I train here. And it's more habit based. And everything I do, even when I'm in full training and motivation might be pretty high, it's still habit based. It's still, I know I'm going to train at this time, on this day, for this long, and it's just something I do. For sure. What about you? Are you motivated every day?
No.
Not at all.
No. No, I don't feel, I kind of have to work on it. Some days more so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, for the most part, no, it's something that's cultivated.
Yeah.
And yeah, you use habits and your processes and whatnot to bring you back to that point where you're like, all right, yeah, I'm energized to do this thing. Let's do it.
That's it. I think a lot of that are, if you set up habits for long enough, it's like I train now, and I'm not training for an event right now, so I'm just doing some general training, but I just train because it's what I do. Like I don't even think about it. Like I literally just train at the gym and go home. Sometimes not even without a program. It's just because it's the person that I am. It's what I do. So I think if you're looking for motivation for something, you've sort of got to lean more into trying to build a habit, trying to take some action, and that will lead into more motivation for something, but still in the understanding that motivation's not always going to be there. And you've got to get consistency with habits to achieve just about anything, I would say.
How do you find as a gym owner, and now you own a gym by yourself,
Yep.
so your workload would have increased.
Mm-hmm.
How do you find pulling yourself away from your work to go and train? Is that a challenge for you?
Yeah, it's a challenge I always find time to train, but it's a challenge to switch my mind off.
Right.
I think when you run a business, anyone who runs a business, like if you're invested enough in it, which most people are, like it becomes second nature to think about it all the time. Always thinking about it in the shower, like even when you're spending time with your kids or your family or at dinner, like always just thinking about it. That's certainly a challenge. You want a good cure for that?
Yeah, I like it.
Country music.
Country music.
Yes, boy. Country music.
You play it on the way home or
2155.
something?
When I train.
Holy shit.
And in fact, Country Music Mondays on Thursdays is a thing at our gym. And every Thursday we play country music.
Oh, that's so cool.
Country music. It's I know you're looking at me funny, but
I want to know more.
I don't know why. It's something about the songs and like you sing along to it. It sort of zones
It's
me
all
out.
quite
from what I'm
optimistic
thinking.
too, country music.
It can
isn't
be. It can be very sad as well. So it depends
Right.
what songs you pick. But I find if country music's not your thing, it can be boy bands. It can be anything you want to sing along to.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I sing when I train now.
Wow.
Yeah, if I don't, I end up lost in my thoughts.
And you're a fan of, you're a hip hop guy?
Yeah.
You guys like a bit of hip hop over at your gym,
That's
I know?
essentially what we play all the time, except on Thursdays.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are we talking like any country music or Aussie or
I'm
American?
more American.
Yeah.
More
A
American.
lot of fun. Some old stuff as well as.
Bit of Garth Brooks is all right.
Yeah.
Garth Brooks, he sung at the inauguration yesterday.
Did he?
Who
Yeah,
didn't?
Garth
What a
Brooks.
boss.
All the big
I saw they
names.
had Lady Gaga,
J-Lo.
J-Lo, and Garth
What kind of
Brooks.
shape's he in? Last time I saw him, he was
He's a big boy.
Big boy, yeah.
I was like, I remember his CDs that my parents used to listen to. And I'm like, I'm sure he was a slim guy.
he was a slim guy.
Yeah, right.
He's enjoying his fame, but
Gone down the
country
Elvis
music,
route.
mate, that's the secret. There it is.
That's cool.
What a claim.
So it's a little bit of a kind of pattern disruption sort of thing?
That's it. I just find it good, like anything like that that's going to work, because if your mind's just running all the time, you start going loopy and start going crazy and thinking too much, and you do feel drained from that. I find that if I don't have a way to stop thinking about work, or especially when the challenges are on, thinking about work and the challenge and the kids, like there's too many things. And if I can't stop my mind for some period of time throughout the day, I just feel completely drained the next day.
I use music for motivation a lot.
Yeah.
I like music, and at some point I recognize that it's a shortcut to whatever mood that you want to be in.
Massive, yeah.
So I like to get excited about music, make playlists. I have a commute, so I'll use the commute to help me do whatever I need to do. Like I don't always listen to podcasts. Less and less I listen to any podcast, because I used to just have more thoughts in my mind all the time.
Yeah.
I was just like sucking in information, and then I went through a period of nothing and just driving in silence, and then I just brought back like whatever tunes I needed, whether
That's
it
it.
was like sing along pop stuff, or it was just
Tiesto.
like Tiesto,
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah, it's very powerful.
I think it is. I think you've got to find a way to switch off sometimes. And for me, that's music while I train. That's my time to chill out. It's interesting what you said about podcasts, because I find depending on what kind of podcast I listen to will depend on what my mood is afterwards. Like sometimes if it's like a business style podcast, I'll just find myself listening and starting to go, all right, maybe I should do this. How can I change this? That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Whereas I prefer listening to more entertaining sort of podcast interviews with cool people
Sure,
where I
yeah,
can just sort of switch off and listen to them for a little while. So depends. JB's podcast, number one.
Haha.
My God. I appreciate your support, man. You just sent that nice text a little while ago. Said
Always,
you
man.
like
Always
the show.
listen. Always listen.
It's cool.
Last week was cool.
Yeah, Firas.
Blow ups about not
Sorry,
being number 100.
Firas.
Firas, I heard the pronunciation,
Firas.
yeah. He wanted to be number 100.
Yeah.
Who is going to be number 100 while we're here?
I don't believe we've booked that far ahead. If I refer to my spreadsheet here
Gotta be
labeled
thinking about triple figures.
3-month podcast plan.
Who's going to raise the bat?
Yeah, we're booked till 97, and then it's open territory.
Should have landed it on Australia Day. Hottest 100.
Oh, that could be a
Podcast
thing.
100. We got a 100 workout, something with 100 as the thing.
Oh yeah, Dill's doing 100
Yeah.
top 100 workout.
Jesus.
yeah,
What's
yeah,
that?
yeah. I haven't seen it yet.
No, yeah, I don't know if he knows. It's just like it's 100 reps of a fuckload of things.
100 things.
And we're doing it on Australia Day.
I think it's important. Important who's number 100.
I do and I don't, because I don't know if we in a way, if we start going down, if we're like that milestone thing, then potentially it's like then it's choosing favorites in a way. Whereas, like we have some of the most unassuming guests that come on, and then the podcast ends up being a real gem.
My favourite one you've ever done was the guy from the country who cooked.
Paul West.
Yes.
Wasn't that a great
That was
episode?
a sick episode. So good. I love that guy.
Oh, man, me
I
too.
used to watch One TV all the time.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I turned on the telly when we were in hospital, when Misa had just given birth. We were in hospital for 5 days.
Yeah.
Which was lovely. We had our own room and
Bit of a
stuff.
break,
and
right?
Yeah, man. And there's no visitors, right, with COVID. So it's just the two of you and the baby, and then these awesome midwives and food. But I turned the telly on and Paul West was on, and it was River Cottage Australia. And I was like, oh, fuck, I never watched this. And he was like making sauerkraut. Then he was welding up a little shelter for his goats because it was raining outside and the goats were getting cold.
It's pretty handy.
Man, I was loving it. I'm like, this is a mad show. I want to go back and watch it.
I really like him.
Yeah?
Great guest. Great guest. I think you can get him back for number 100. I'll be happy.
That could be a cool one. Yeah, it's a good call.
Just think about it.
Yeah, it's got to be big. It can't be one of those ones where we're like 2 minutes before, all right, boys, what are we talking about today?
So can we lock the Jungle Brothers in for push-ups next time we do 1 million?
100%.
I'm in. Yeah,
100%.
I wasn't aware of it
Maybe
at the time.
I'll message you, Paul.
Yeah, I'm in.
I'll pay double.
Your push-ups account for double.
Well, you know what? And this is by no means an excuse, but it was one of those things where it came and I was like, fuck yeah, here's the thing the whole gym needs to get behind.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, I'm like, the idea of communicating this to the whole gym with whatever else is on in my head right now is like too much.
Yeah.
But I was like, I want to do it. But then I'm like, no, but I got to tell everyone.
Yeah, it's fair enough. No, it's good.
But undoubtedly, it's been declared now. We'll be a part of any future event.
I think it's really cool. I think events like that's awesome for community too, right? Not only at the gym, but just in general. I heard you guys at the start saying you're going to do that walk. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. And people love that stuff. People love an excuse to get behind people. And sometimes it can be difficult to give money, you know? But people are more than happy to give their time and their energy and go for a walk or do some push-ups or whatever it might be, yeah? So
it's true, man. Like we get here, what's the hotspot for it? We get people coming in looking for donations every other week.
yeah.
And they're like, oh, hey guys, they always walk up to the office, super awkward because they open the door and then there's like 10 coaches. Yeah, they just open this door and they're like, hello, I'm from this foundation and I'm here to talk to you. And you're like, well, one of us will come downstairs and let's have a chat one-to-one.
Yeah.
Because there's, a bunch of people staring at you right now. But they're usually, they're always for a good cause. They're always helping, sick children or people with disabilities or whatever it is. And you always want to help.
Yeah.
And our thing is like, look, our business doesn't, like, we're just scraping through. So we're not going to give you a donation of money. However,
Do you want me to do some push-ups?
yeah, like, we got a gym here where we can run, if you want to bring the kids in, we
Yeah.
can run a workshop on a day or, is there something we can do like that? Because we'd be more than happy to volunteer our time and our energy. So what you're talking about is that it's like, you're not asking for coin, you're just asking for a little bit of effort.
That's it.
And I do think that generally, not always, but generally people are happy to give some effort.
For sure. And it's massive for community building. People feel like they're contributing, even though they're not giving money. They're giving their own time. They're posting on their social media. And that's like the power of the good that social media can do. Because it's a bit of a weird spot, I think, social media at the moment. And so I love when I see people doing things like that because it's, they're using the platform for something I think that's like quite noble and quite cool to try and get a message out there about someone that's a little less fortunate than them. And I think that's really what I love to see when I look at my social media or some fighting. And yeah, so I think people are definitely more open to that than they are giving money. I think there's so many good causes at the moment. It's really difficult, unless something's really personal to you, it's difficult to know where to put your money.
It's true.
Because there's so many people that need it, right? And so many people need help. But when you talk about, do you want to we'll go for a walk, or we'll do some push-ups, or we'll go for a bike ride, whatever it might be, people are happy to come down and give their time and give them something to do. And I mean, it makes everyone feel good. I think it helps the cause. It helps that person feel like they're contributing. I think it's a really cool thing.
Yeah, I do sometimes have, you kind of touched on it, like there's so many different causes. And I do sometimes have this feeling of futility when you see, I'm doing a thing for this, I'm doing a thing for this. And what you're doing is on a pretty grand scale. Like obviously it's got a lot of room to grow, but compared to your standard like fundraisers within offices and, sort of one-man bands, they're not doing it on that level, right? Yeah. They would aspire to, I'm sure. But you see all these things and you're like, yeah, that's a great cause, great, awesome. But you're like, fuck, do these people need to combine forces so that their effect can be larger? Sometimes there's this feeling of almost helplessness.
I think each cause sort of has so many branches and so many people wanting to do their own thing for it. And we're the same. There's other people that raise money for CF, heaps of people. And we're just doing our own thing. So for sure there'd be I think it'd be easier for people to know that there's this one body, but then I think you sort of can get tied up into politics around what happens with the money and who's the most deserving of it. So, I do see a need for some sub branches on each different cause, and this money's going to go to this thing, this money's going to go to this thing. But as a person who sees, like you said, people asking for money, people asking for help, it gets difficult. It gets bloody difficult to know who am I going to help you. That's why most people will revert to what's personal to them. Oh, my mum had breast cancer, I'll go there, or whatever it might be, which is completely fair enough.
Yeah.
Completely fair enough. But that's where I think we're trying to cut through it, because the reality is that not on that scale, the numbers aren't the same for people with CF. And so we're trying to find a way to get people, grab people's attention and say, hey, you might not know anyone with CF, but listen to the story about other people with it, and maybe you want to now contribute something if you can.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've found it having a child that, all of a sudden you start having these feelings of, oh man, what if he's born with something, or fuck, what if he's fine now, but then in 2 years' time, he's got this thing, and you're like, and then I was just thinking as you were talking moments ago, I'm like, if it turns out he's got CF, I'm going to be so fucking appreciative of what you do. Like it's, you can't, it becomes such a valuable kind of lifeline, I'm sure, for people, who whether it's themselves or their children or their family members who are suffering from things, to have other people out there who are doing things to raise awareness.
That's it. Because things like that make you feel helpless, right? As a dad, if that was you can't actually do anything. You're not a doctor. You're not, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
And so to see someone out there with any sort of profile trying to create awareness and get some money and help you out, it's like gold dust, it's awesome. And that's why I think a lot of people are really, really receptive to it, because I think it's just beginning with CF. There is a lot of people out there doing work, but it's just the beginning of it, and we're going to try and make it as big as we can so that everyone knows about it. And those people that feel at the moment like no one's listening to them or no one knows really their story, we're going to try and get it out there and make people hear the message, and hopefully that helps them even just their day-to-day interactions with people. I'm sure I used to know Nath, he used to tell people I've got CF, and the amount of times people say, what's that? What does that mean? And just no understanding, which is completely fine, but we want to change that a little bit and make it a bit more mainstream so people understand, oh, he's got CF, that means this, and that's what it means for him. They just have a bit more understanding about the kind of person that might be. And for me as a parent, same as you, when I see kids with it, it's my heart, obviously for the kid, but my heart goes to the parent straight away. It's if something was wrong like that with my child, it'd be you would feel helpless. And it's the worst feeling in the world, to feel helpless and not be able to help someone with something that means something to you, like your child. So yeah, as much as I'm doing it for the people with CF, I'm a person who's a brother of someone with CF, so I sort of relate to what it's like to be in the family without actually having it. And so I want to try and help those people out as well if we can.
It's cool. It's some real life hero shit you're doing, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, the truth is it makes me feel good too, right? So
of course,
a lot of people that help, it is nice and it is good what I'm doing, but it also makes me feel good. So it's a little bit of selfishness involved with it. It's good to feel worthwhile. It's good to know that you're doing something for people.
Yeah, so, but there has to be. Yeah, there has to be. For you to drag yourself, you know what I mean? To put that effort in, and there has to be some kind of benefit to you.
Correct.
Could you, you got some good book recommendations? I'm thinking you've dived into this motive, well, I'm assuming you've or unless you've just stumbled into it, but what are you using to help you get motivated and to help you develop this drive and discipline?
Goggins got a book.
Yep.
Pretty cool. Can't Hurt Me.
Can't Hurt Me.
Good book. I'm more I like the processes around people being successful or great, so I like that book. I'm going to butcher the name of it. I think it's called Legacy. It's about the All Blacks.
All Blacks, yeah.
Really, really cool book.
Lessons on leadership.
Yeah, such a good book. Such a good book. And even though it's about leadership of a group of people, very relatable to your own life.
Yeah.
And how you can lead yourself in your own life and to move forward. So I'd probably just recommend that one. Can't Hurt Me's awesome book. If you know anything about Goggins or you like him in any way, that's definitely worth a read, or just an audio book. Super cool story and very, very inspirational person. He's on a different level to anyone probably is ever going to be. How someone's got to be that one person. He's that one person that's just crazy enough to do things that people just aren't going to do. So probably don't have to relate to him that much, but it's more about just drawing some inspiration from that story.
Yeah,
Pretty
I think I should read that because I kind of like the guy. I think I could like him more.
You like him more if you read the book. It's really raw, really real about his experiences.
Yeah.
And there's a lot about him that you probably don't know unless you read the book, like some of the challenges he's gone through. It's not just, I've got this crazy mindset. It's about like why he's got it.
Mad.
Yeah.
What about podcast?
Oh, JB's podcast.
JB's podcast. Top one. What are the other top two beneath the Jungle Brothers podcast?
Well, I think I'm not really special with my podcast listening. I listen to My Muscle Project, Joe Rogan, Tim Ferriss.
Yeah,
Pretty
nice.
boring. Who's that guy that I listen to?
The classic quadrant.
Yeah, it's pretty classic. It's pretty
Yeah.
classic four podcasts I listen to. I don't listen to much else. Country music. I can definitely hit you up with some country music.
Yeah.
Do you have a Spotify playlist of this country music?
It's called Country Music Mondays on Thursdays, yeah.
Country Music Mondays on Thursdays.
Yeah.
What's the Mondays on Thursdays
Well,
about?
Country Music Monday sort of rolls off the tongue nicely, but we didn't do it on Monday.
Obviously.
So we did it on Thursday, and now it's just become a thing. Everyone knows it's Country Music Mondays on Thursdays.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a crack at that.
Next session.
I think you would enjoy it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, right, just play it at the gym. Don't tell anyone what's happening. Just play it. Just
See what happens.
Just put it out there. Just see what happens. Thing is, there was a lot of resistance in the gym. You can imagine, like, we've got a lot of hip hop, a lot of rap, a little bit of dance music, like upbeat sort of stuff. And then one day it's just country. And just the faces were exploding, mate.
Fuck
We're
is
like,
this?
what is this?
I love riling up the members with music.
There's a few dark horses like going, this is all right. I did not expect this. I'm happy about this. But a lot of people were very resistant to it. And now I play, like, there's only like 40, 50 songs on it because it's only one day of the week. So you probably hear every song in 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks you hear all the songs. People singing it.
That's cool.
Country music haters are singing the songs, mate. They love it.
They're becoming little anthems of the gym.
And we have a lift class on 6:30 on a Thursday, and they will not lift to anything else.
Wow. I like the old stuff. When I think of like Dolly Parton,
Oh, it's a bit out.
there's sweet songs like and really cool.
Mate, they're very soulful music. But you listen to Rascal Flatts, Luke Combs, Luke Bryant.
Oh, don't know any of those three.
Rascal
No.
Flash, I like that name. Flats. Ah, that's good too.
Great.
Love country.
They sing
music.
they sing Life is a Highway in the Cars movie.
Haven't
You ever
seen
seen
it.
Car- You will.
He's only 2.5 weeks old. Yeah. That time's
Study
coming
up.
Yeah.
Tell you what though, the entertainment for kids is boosted recently. I think that's the movies and the shows are very
God.
watchable for parents because
So
back in the
much
day,
fun.
mate, horrendous.
Horrendous.
Now you can watch them.
So much
I have
fun.
been exposed to a couple through Misa's daughter.
What have you watched?
I watched Finding Nemo, which I know is fucking old.
Classic.
But that was new shit for me. Loved it. I watched a little bit of the Emoji film.
Oh yeah,
That was pretty funny.
Not bad.
Yeah,
Not
that
bad.
was good. And then she was watching Trolls the other day.
classic.
I didn't really like it, but it was like fun stuff going
It's
on.
watchable.
Yeah,
They're
there's
watchable.
layers in there.
There's adult
for
themes
us,
and
isn't
stuff.
there? Yeah.
The two I watched recently was Totoro. I was telling Misa. It was
Oh,
just
yeah?
randomly this Japanese film made by the guys who make Spirited Away. It was weird, but it was fun. And then I watched Soul. Have you seen Soul?
Yeah,
Sitting on the
sick
side
movie.
of buses.
So good.
I cried.
Did ya?
Yeah, I teared up.
It was
I didn't, like,
sad.
bawl.
Great movie though.
But yeah, really touching.
Who's the main character? What's his name?
Who plays him?
Yeah.
Forgotten.
So good.
Yeah,
Soul is
really good.
so
movie.
good.
There's really good themes in that.
Cartoon deal or
Yeah,
Cartoon,
yeah.
right.
Another
Kids
one.
were sitting there
Coco.
thinking about life.
Coco.
Yeah, Coco.
Gotta watch Coco. You might
Yeah?
cry on that one.
Dang. Yeah, I'm open to. I'm
missed
crying
that one.
more too since he's been born.
More emotional, mate.
Waterworks
You're open
is
to
switch
I
feelings.
teared up when Dylan gave me a play-by-play yesterday on how he proposed on the weekend.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I was just like,
Congratulations, man.
yeah, he's in the room.
Coco. Coco's tearjerker.
Coco's a goodie.
Yeah, have you watched that?
I haven't, but they went to the movies and saw it.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Really good. Entertaining. It's music, a lot of music.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. A lot of Latin American, I think they're Mexican. Really cool.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Cool.
Really, really cool movie.
Fuck yeah, I can get around it.
Yeah, you like that.
Yeah, I'm on board with this stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
What
Leo's
about-
not yet.
What about TV shows? Dougie? You watch Dougie?
Dougie is so funny. Doesn't actually say anything.
Bluey?
I've seen Bluey, but I've not been
Bluey.
exposed to any show. Any TV
Bluey's
shows.
alright. Bluey's alright.
Bluey's good?
Dougie's good.
Yeah.
Bluey's good. Bluey's the
Bluey's
best.
Aussie, isn't it?
Bluey's Aussie, yeah.
That's cool. Dougie, Aussie? No.
No, it's English.
Okay.
Bluey's a girl too. I didn't know
Dougie's
that.
really funny.
I found that out yesterday.
I had
the,
no idea.
The person who
Bluey's-
plays his voice.
Well, just the character, Bluey, the dog in the thing.
It's a girl dog.
But I thought it was always a boy dog. I don't think they made it clear enough.
Biatch.
That's cool. Bitch.
She's a bitch.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, in the literal
By
sense.
definition.
Yeah. Oh man, that's cool. What have you got coming up? Like, what's the future plan? What's the you want to do the big bomb drop today on what the next?
No, because last time I did it, I got it wrong. There is some plans in motion. Nothing's set in concrete yet, but there will be another crazy event, and we will
This year, like it's an annual thing, or not necessarily.
probably this year.
Okay.
Yeah, no, probably this year, and there will be another 1 million push-ups this year as well.
Okay.
Yeah, there might be different events. Might just be separate events. One's just me doing something crazy. The other one will be the whole community with the 1 million push-ups the day. Yeah, most likely September.
Yeah.
Not in concrete yet, but yeah. It will depend on COVID. Like our vision is to have it, like I said, at a football oval or something where we can have, like I said, food trucks, food, drinks, big stage, people doing push-ups.
Some beats.
Some country music probably, maybe
Fuck
some hip-hop.
Thumbs in pockets and then just moving the hips.
Hats. Everyone gets a hat on arrival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How y'all doing?
That was good. That was good. Yeah. So that's the vision. If we can't do that, we'll still do something similar to what we did last time, but we want to leave it a bit later to see what's going to happen with restrictions and whether something like that a possibility. But yeah,
That's cool.
that's coming up.
Well, if maybe within the COVID thing, if it comes at a time when there's still restrictions, you could potentially do, which was something we'd love to be involved in. If you could do like each place that gets involved, like say each gym, they run their own little kind of mini day festival kind of vibe there.
Yeah, cool.
And you could almost stipulate, all right, got to have some food, you got to have some music, and and then there's the push-up section.
That's it. No, it's good. It's a good idea actually, Joey. We might have to brainstorm post podcast to get some more ideas, man. That was good.
Yeah, well, we thought about that, didn't we, with the Christmas party? We were like, all right, we're going to have satellite Christmas parties because it's like 10 people at each party. So we're going to get like 30 houses involved. It was ridiculous.
Didn't you guys go away for your Christmas party?
Yeah, we did.
What was that about? I saw it and went, they've gone away for Christmas. That's crazy.
We had a camping weekend.
Where'd you go?
We went to a property on the Colo River.
I know a Colo. I go camping there regularly.
Which was a connection through Paul.
That was a sick weekend. It was sick.
Did you have many people go?
Fucking hell, we had heaps.
Did you?
In true Jungle Brothers fashion, it was a blowout.
It looked like a proper party. Like I'm like,
It was a festival.
How they get that many
type
people
thing.
to go away camping? Like I feel like that'd be a struggle for most people.
I mean, it wasn't easy. It took a lot of work, right?
Yeah,
a lot of phone calls, a lot of conversations. No, come, you'll be fine. You'll love camping. I know you haven't done it before, And truthfully, everyone that came fucking loved it.
Yeah.
But it was an ask. It was an ask from the people that came, and I mean, you boys put in a lot of work. I didn't have much to do with the involvement, thankfully.
T sold it really, really well to a lot of people and made events and got people involved by, asking people in the tribe what they could offer. And it was a Burning Man theme.
To run workshops.
Yeah, to run workshops and stuff.
Really?
So it was a Burning Man theme. So there was all of that.
You do that
what
again.
Can you do for people?
Send an invite this way. I would love to be part of
Right,
that.
we'll hit you up.
That's amazing. I can't believe you did that. That is like, I know what it's like to run a gym and what it takes to get people to turn up. Like we have really successful social events, but to ask people to go away camping is a big ask, and you've nailed it.
Yeah.
Well done, mate. That's crazy.
And here's the even crazier shit is that it came 7 days after our fight night.
Really?
So we had the fight night, and then that was on a Saturday, and then the next Friday, 6 days later, I was like, all right, we're going camping. Like, it was fucking so much. It was all in the last 2 weekends of the year as well.
I'll never do it like that.
It was ridiculous.
Again.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, you got away with it because it's COVID, right? So people weren't having that many plans end of December.
Exactly.
If you'd have done that last year or the year before, sorry, you probably wouldn't have people turn up.
It's usually all
Fight
in
night,
November.
Paulie.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did.
Would you do it again?
I would definitely do it again.
Cool.
I want to do it again because, you learn from the first experience and definitely need to be chilling out and focusing more on the actual day.
I feel like an event like that would make you more relaxed next time because you know what to expect. There's a lot of unknown, isn't it? First time.
Yeah. And it was our first event. It was quite busy. We haven't done that sort of thing before with the fundraising, and it got thrown together, late, I would say. And we had lots of help and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it was a good experience.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Was it all members, yeah? Except for you?
all members. It started with coaches. Dylan here called out one of the other coaches. So who fought were either members or coaches here. So it was just in house.
And that's ballsy, I imagine, because even like me just getting up and trying to hit like a max deadlift in front of my own members is like bit on the line here. Like I've got to pick this up because I got my credibility.
Oh, it's all about
on the line here, right?
It's all about
so
the people
get up
who are
and
watching.
Fight somebody. Shit.
Yeah, that's the hardest part.
That's ballsy, just stepping up though. Really,
You feel, very nerve wracking and all the energy that's going around. And
yeah.
Also, because we made the fundraiser like public, so there was pay-per-view, etc.
Yeah.
So then you've got all these people watching, and that was the most nerve-wracking part, I'd say.
Awesome.
Just the
but
idea
you did it.
of it.
But you did it. You going to go up next?
Yeah, I'll be in the next one. I didn't do this one because I didn't feel right about my knee.
Okay.
I was like, nah, I don't want to. I don't want to do it yet. But next one, I'll be up for it.
Him and T are wrestling.
T wants me to do a wrestling match against him.
Oh, I was going to say, surely you're just going to take someone down anyway if it's stand up. Just going to.
Well, I'd probably, yeah, but with T, I'd probably like to play more off my back.
Yeah.
You know, more jiu-jitsu. But if it's a wrestling match, I can't.
Okay.
Because you go on your back, you lose.
Oh, there's rules, isn't there, in wrestling?
Well,
I
wrestling,
don't know the
wrestling's
rules
all
for wrestling.
about pinning and being in top position.
Yeah.
Essentially. So that would be a good middle ground between our skill sets.
So you're a striker.
He's a striker and he has a good base of kind of basic wrestling.
Yeah, cool.
Whereas I'm a strict jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah.
So I like to spin around on my back and all that.
Yeah.
So if we did a jiu-jitsu match, I'd have an advantage.
Massive advantage.
If we did a
imagine.
striking match, I would get obliterated.
That's why I like the mixed martials, mate. Like, just if he stays on his feet, you're in trouble. You got to get him to the ground.
Yeah, he would definitely KO me before I could close the
Oh,
distance.
just run at him.
Just run at
Bro, it would be horrible. You would
Grab
see
him.
my fucking nose explode.
Jump knee.
on the screen. Yeah, yeah. I'd be like Ben Askren.
Oh, mate, that was a knockout. That was a knockout for the ages.
Oh, man.
He did that. He just ran at him.
Fuck,
That was a
yeah,
mistake.
That was beautiful, mate. Thank you for coming on again.
Pleasure, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Twice is more than I deserve. I appreciate it.
Well, I always get a little shot of motivation every time you come in. It's
I do too.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I gotta fucking get some shit going on. I gotta do some stuff. I like it, and I hope that people who listen to this also get a little hit of motivation out of it. I want people to see you, right? Because again, I really think that people listening are like, yeah, but he's a Superman. He's obviously a fucking, this guy's an animal. But you're like you said last time, you're like, I'm just a dude who trains and just works hard.
Yeah.
Where can people find you? Where can they see you? Tell us about your gym.
Cool. So, yeah, my Instagram handle is probably the best reflection of who I am. Very straight down the line training and being a dad. So that's Sean Clarence, which is SEAN Clarence _. The gym's version 2, all one word, all spelt out. But yeah, if you want to check out what Neverest is about, we're at neverest.com.au, which is NEVERREST, Neverest, one word. .com.au. Check that out. We have an Instagram page as well, which we're not super active on unless we're like in the
Event
middle of an
time.
event.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you want to check out the website, check it out, see what the event was about. It's all there.
That's cool. We'll push people towards it. We'll give you a little tag when we post this episode. And man, thanks again.
Thanks, everyone, guys. I'll be listening, excited to see who number 100. You might not think it's a big deal, but to the listeners,
It's a big deal.
Number 100
Good
is a
feedback.
big deal.
All right, we'll make it a
talk.
thing.
Yeah.
We'll make it a thing. Paul West, consider yourself called out. Could be multiple guests. Let's see. Maybe it's a fucking marathon episode.
Work like a boardroom sort of style.
That could be cool.
I'd like to
Could
hear
just
that.
be a bunch of people yelling over the top of each other. That could be cool. Yeah. Guys, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed that episode, please share it with a friend. It helps to support our show, but also helps to spread Sean's message and let people know about cystic fibrosis. So take a screenshot of it, put it on your Instagram, tag us, tag him, send it to someone who you know would appreciate it, and you're doing a lot of good things. We'll catch you guys next week. And Sean, I will see you at some point 100 and something down the track.
Sounds good, bro. Take care.
Thank you,
Joey.
brother.
Thanks, Paulie.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Paulie.
bro.
And if you want anything from us, you know where to get us, junglebrothers.com, or if you're on Instagram at Jungle Brothers Movement. Thank you for listening, guys. We'll catch you next week. Peace.